The NFL draft season is officially underway, and we all know the path to the draft begins in Mobile, Alabama, and the Bears had a heavy scouting presence for day one of Senior Bowl practices. Today, I was really impressed with some players in the trenches, but what really stood out to me was the interior line talent on both sides of the ball. The Chicago Bears have weaknesses on the defensive line and offensive line, and that's primarily what I'm going to be focused on. The national team practiced first, and they showcased the offensive line talent, where the O line would win the majority of the one on one drills. Get to know the name Ariante Ursary, the Minnesota tackle, but Wyatt Milam also had a big day as well with some absolutely dominating reps. But there was some more talent in the trenches where the Bears really need help. At guard, Marcus Mabo, Gregory Zabel, and Anthony Belton all looked pretty good. Zabel, the NC State offensive lineman, he played both guard spots and center today. He really caught my eye, and his versatility could really help as a backup on our offensive line. Another offensive lineman that stood out, though, was his teammate Anthony Belton, who dominated most of his 1v1 drills. But the national team had multiple offensive linemen that stood out. As far as the American team goes, we did have some surprises. Even after reports that Walter Nolan and Shamar Stewart and others would not be practicing, we saw both of them on the football field, and so was Savion Jones. But Dion Walker is just a physical specimen. I think he would pair awesome next to Jervon Dexter. He has similar issues where his pad level's a bit too high at times, but he's also unblockable at times. I felt bad for the guys trying to block him one on one. But Walter Nolan is incredible. If there's one guy from the Senior Bowl that we might need to get to know, it could be this guy. I think there's definitely going to be consideration to take this guy with our first round pick. He flashed a variety of moves today: first step quickness, power, burst, and advanced pass rush moves. This is a guy that's in the top 15 of most big boards. Watch out for Walter Nolan. But also, Shamar Stewart and TJ Sanders dominated some reps. TJ Sanders showed some power off the line of scrimmage. But don't forget about Tennessee's defensive tackle, Omar Norman Lott. He continued showcasing the talent on the interior of this D line. He blew up multiple plays and got into the backfield. I went into this year's Senior Bowl knowing we need help on the defensive line as well, but after just one day of practice, it was the defensive tackles dominating, while the edge rushers were mostly quiet, at least for the first day. The one spot that might be a worry right now for us Bears fans is the center position, where I do like Jonah Monheim, but he's definitely not going to be worth a second round pick. Right now, there might only be one center in the draft that could be, and he wasn't practicing. Guard and defensive tackle are huge strengths, and the Senior Bowl is showcasing that. But this weekend's game is shaping up to be a very intriguing one for the Bears' second round picks, especially. Other than Walter Nolan, there's not many players at this year's Senior Bowl that are going to be in consideration for our first round pick. But there are a lot of guys that Ryan Poles is going to be watching for day two. Remember, we have three picks right now on day two, and we get a third if Ian Cunningham lands a GM job. And if I was Ryan Poles right now, I would definitely be looking at the guard and defensive tackles that are at this year's Senior Bowl. It really showcased the interior talent that we could be looking at on day two of the draft. As this week goes on, I'm going to try my best to identify the guys that would fit this team and that would make sense for our second or third round pick. The talent in this draft definitely seems focused heavily on the interior, guards and defensive tackles. I'm going to say it again, but both of those fit needs for the Chicago Bears. And there's a lot of players that not only fit our needs, but also happen to be in the top 50 of most big boards. Most players at the Senior Bowl are day two type guys that could go early in the second round, and some guys that are going to fall to the third round as well. But these last 72 hours have been a whirlwind. From having access to Shrine Bowl practice film and Senior Bowl film, as well as the Bears hiring a new head coach and coordinators, things have been crazy. And honestly, I'm going to get some sleep tonight, guys, but I will have much more Senior Bowl coverage coming throughout the week. But I just want to talk about the guys that impressed me the most when it comes to Bears targets. For more Senior Bowl coverage, check out Swift Scouting Network. Stay tuned for more Bears coverage. Remember to hit that like button for me. Stay tuned. And until next time, bear down.